Namaste dear friends, this is Victoryshine from Victoryshine Associates. I hope all of you are doing well. I had not been doing videos for quite some time as I was busy with work. But today I've come with a video, but it's definitely not a law point video. But I've come here with some social awareness. To begin with, I would like to start off with a story of a client of mine, and I don't wish to disclose her name. This client of mine I had met a few years ago. She was a pleasant young lady, about 45 to 46 years old, with a little daughter, a very cute little daughter, and she had nobody in this world. She was well qualified, she was working for a big company. She was living alone with her little child. She was a divorcee, and she lost both her parents. She had no siblings. Though she had everyone in this world, she was isolated. So she lived alone without disturbing anybody. It so happened that, she was all the time running about doing her work and home and her kid. And what happened is she was often feeling lonely, and she used to fall sick quite often. And whenever she was hospitalized, it was the little child who was suffering. She didn't know what to do. She was so helpless. At that time, her friends advised her that she should settle in life. She should move on. Because now the child is very young, it is time for her to settle in life again and get married again. And when she came to me, I too advised her the same thing, that she should settle in life. So she took this advice. She too felt the need of a companion. And then she had put a profile on one of the matrimony sites. There she came across many profiles which she was very choosy about. She was very scared to even talk to somebody. Then finally she found somebody, that is, she got a request from somebody from Chennai. And she liked this man because this man was from Chennai, and moreover she didn't want to go to any other place because that will affect the education of her little kid. And this man whom she met on the site he seemed to be a very nice man, because that is how he projected to her, telling that he was a divorcee and he had settled all monetary settlements with his ex-family through court. And it seems that this man had been very loving to her, that she was madly in love with him and she trusted him like anything. But this man had been working in the media, and he was well placed in one of the companies, and he used to shower all his attention on this woman. He loved her daughter. He was he was acting just like a father to her kid, and she was convinced that he was a very, very nice man. So with all the promises that he made, she trusted him, and they both got married, and their life was very happy initially, and I too was happy seeing them. He took care of her kids and everything, until a few months back some problems started creeping in. That is when she came to know so many things that he used to do before. Like what he had told her, that he was after the divorce from his wife, which was nearly 15 years back, he lived alone. He had not entertained any other woman, and he seemed to be such a nice man. He never used to drink, who never used to smoke, and she had trusted him so much. But later on, she found out many things about him. That he was already married, unofficially, that's what she was telling. And he had live-in arrangements with some women. And moreover, he had lot of illegal sexual connections with many women. That is, paid sex workers, which she found out from his media profiles. He maintained 2-3 profiles on Facebook and everything. This she found out slowly, because this man was very secretive at home. He used to lock not only his mobile phone, that is the main lock, he used to lock everything, that is right from Facebook, Instagram and everything. Even the contacts he used to lock in the phone. So she grew suspicious and she always started quarreling with him. One fine day, she insisted that she sees his mobile phone. She wanted to know why he locked the phone. So after so many days of quarreling and even she attempted suicide. It was then that he removed the lock and he let her see his mobile. There, she went and dug into his Google activities, where she found out what he had been doing for nearly 2 to 3 years before they met. And there she found out what he was searching for, what sort of women he was looking for, and what all he did. She found out all his social sites. And she found out what he was doing, with who all he was chatting. He had almost all sorts of relationship with all these so-called paid sexual workers. So he was in and out of such activities. So when she confronted him about his activities, his live-in relation with other women and everything, then he confessed. Then he said, that was my past. I will not be doing it because now I love you. I want to be with you. And I'm very truthful to you. So what she did is, though she cried and all that, but finally she had to forgive him and say that, you at least you could have disclosed this to me before. We could have avoided all this. Then he said, no, I didn't want to lose you. So finally things were settled. Then she told him, I don't want to see you having a lock in the phone. So finally he put only one lock, that is the main lock, what you call. And then in spite of this, he still has made other Facebook IDs. When she confronted him now he says it is not made by him. And moreover, from the other side, she is being troubled by his ex-family. That is his wife, who had left him about 15 years back. She had her sexual relationships with so many other men, which he himself has caught and finally left her, and they finished it in the court. Now, this woman had been living with somebody else. The children knew it. The children, he had to fend for them and then finally made them engineers. The boys got married. And after so many years, when they found out that this man was happily settled with somebody now this time, the wife and the kids, who were not bothered about him for all these 15 years, now they want to come back into his life only to trouble this new lady. The son, what he did, he sent some gunda elements to this woman's house where she lived with her little kid and this man, when this man was not there, and she was threatened with acid. And she was threatened to leave this man and go away, without failing which they will kill her. When she told this to this man, he said, okay, I'll take care of it. But he didn't do anything. And he told her not to go to the police because he wanted to save his children. Okay, she came to me. She told me about this. I said, we can handle this. We can give a criminal complaint against them. But then later on, he convinced her that he will set right things. After which, his ex-wife is in the habit of always calling her and telling her so many things. Now she says, you leave my husband and go. Now whose fault is this? This poor woman is very innocent. She trusted him and married him. Now she has to bear all this. And every day it's a new story. Because of which she is all the time thinking of a suicide. Now she's become a mental wreck. She doesn't know whether to live with him or not. She loves him so much, she's not even able to make up her mind. Another thing is fear of society. She feels that now that she's married him legally, how will the society talk if he leaves her and goes for the second time? So all this makes her think, should I live? Should I not? When she came to me, I told her two options. Either you forgive him and bring him around and tell him that this is the last chance and he has to behave well and set right things. Otherwise, she has to go and approach from the legal side. That we will take care of. But she is not able to decide anything. So my dear friends, Whose fault is it? There was another instance. The same incident took place in my very own friend's life. My very own, childhood friend. I lost her. She committed suicide. The same situation. The man came into our life promising her that no, he has got nobody else in his life. He has finished course with his wife. He has taken a legal divorce. The wife took away, plundered everything he had. The wife and his two daughters. They took away all that he had and then left him on the road. And finally, when he found this woman, my friend, they got married. They were living happily. That is the time this wife, she feels jealous. Oh, this man has started living with another woman. That time, she used her two daughters as bait to bring this man home back. To bring him back home. So what happened is, he went back and my friend, she didn't like, no woman would like a husband going to his ex-wife and things like that. And she's legally married now after the divorce. She did not snatch away somebody else's husband. But this man, now even after the divorce, he's saying, no, she was not well. I have to be with her and things. So what happened is, my friend was very foolish. She just committed suicide, for which he was punished in the eye of law. But finally what happened? The other woman, that is his ex-wife, whom he went behind leaving this woman, she threw him and went. The moment he was sentenced by the court, she left him and walked away. Whose life has gone? So my dear friends, in both these situations, it is the woman who suffered. So in order to avoid these situations, what shall we do? We see many women who are going and getting trapped in this, especially when they find, with the help of these social media, these matrimonial sites as such, when they meet people there, they only show the only one side of theirs. And these women, they fall prey to that, because most of the time they are conversing on either on the phone or the chatting on the WhatsApp and things like that. So what I would suggest is, you should actually make somebody go behind them, find out their whereabouts. Before, at least in olden days, our parents used to go to the boy's house or his neighborhood and find out about him. They used to go to his workplace. They used to find out what he is doing. But these days, nobody's got time to do so. And nobody is there for them to do so. At least, the younger generation should be very careful. You have to find out who is social, where he is on the social site, which social site he is there. Whether he is on Facebook, whether he is on any other things. By looking at his friends list, you can make out the type of person he is. If not, you can engage many of these detective agencies who are ready to help you out. Okay, it might be a little expensive, but then nothing is more expensive than your life. Instead of going and running about to the police station and the court later on, at least at this stage, you can pay some amount and find out about somebody. At least these days, you get somebody's mobile phone, you will know their history. They say it is very indecent to check somebody else's phone, somebody else's mobile, mail and all that. But don't see for all these things. If you are sitting and saying, oh, my etiquette, my decency is gone, all that will not work now, because once your life is gone, nobody is going to be with you. So if you are very intimate with a man, if you are very close to them, first of all, you tell them, can you give me your mobile phone for some time? Just see how many times he is, the moment he is with you, he'll lock his phone. He'll keep his phone in a silent mode. That is the case, you should know that there is something wrong. So first of all, don't see that, there's no decency in asking all that. Just forget everything. Ask him to show his mobile phone. At least you know which Facebook ID he comes under. You go into the friends list. Find out who his friends are. At least inquire with one or two of his friends. Just send them a request and find out. Because prevention is better than cure. Because later on, if something goes wrong, it cannot be changed. You have to live with this. And moreover, there's another thing. The society, the moment a woman marries a second time, they immediately start asking questions like, why does she need another marriage? Don't do so. If you cannot help somebody, don't criticize them. And a woman after second marriage, the marriage breaks. Don't try to point out to her and say, "Oh, you have lost marriage. You should have thought of it," because it's like rubbing salt on a wound. Don't do that. If you cannot sympathize with them, don't comment on them at least. Because of people like us, like in the society, who blames a woman for every little thing. The women are scared to come out of a marriage. They are still living in an abusive relationship. So let's not do this. As human beings, we all have a responsibility towards our society. Please don't hurt another woman. And nowadays I find these women are another enemy of a woman. That's what they say. But to some extent I don't feel that is right, because as a woman I always feel that I have to help another woman, because see, I am also a victim. I have gone through all this. I've faced the worst in life. I've gone through a big accident where nobody stood by me. Very, very big accident where I was on the verge of death. That time, it was a very few good friend of mine who helped me. So, whenever another woman is in trouble, I always feel that it's my responsibility to run and reach out to them. If we cannot do much, at least let us do little. Let us not hurt others. And if at all you come across any woman suffering, please try to help them out in any little way you can. So my dear friends, if you find this video useful, please do leave your comments. Thank you.